Okay. Yeah, hopefully. But you guys, I'm kind of excited for you. I think that would be fun to go to the workshop and or the what's it called? Conference.
Yeah. Training should be interesting.
Yeah. And it's the marriage training, is that right?
Mm-hmm. It's the 7 principles of making marriage work.
Yeah. Good. Oh, yeah. Wow.
Have you finished that book, Ashley?
A couple semesters ago, this class, I've read pretty much almost every chapter trying to help me plan. So it's right now, because so now when I go to the seminar, it's kind of like fresh in my head. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I've been so caught up with. I think I'm on like chapter 2 maybe, so I'm gonna try to see how far I can get. I don't know. I started reading it just a few weeks ago, and Gottman's approach is really interesting to me. He comes on pretty strong. And,
yes, he does.
Yeah, I can.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, I remember how Sister Buswell, like, I don't know, in one of the meetings, she mentioned how she wasn't too fond of Gottman or something, and reading the book now, he totally like debunks therapists and like throws all of their ideas out the window, and I'm like, I can see why she thinks that.
Yeah, she said he was really rude, right?
Yeah.
Did you hear the thing where she said that?
Yeah.
Like, wow. Like, yeah, that.
Yeah, but his approach, I can definitely see why she would think that, because his approach is, you know, it's all me. I've got it all right. Y'all have it wrong. And I think he has a lot of valuable information, and, you know, that's his way of selling it, you know, just advertising anything else. I have the best product, but.
Wow. I love when we get little hints.
Go for it. Sorry.
I like it.
Yeah.
Are we waiting for Charlene too?
I think she was planning to be here. Do you think she is, Jamie?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's free today, so she should be here.
Yeah, I liked looking over all of your outlines. They were so good.
Really? I feel like mine's
it made me.
The first time, my first lesson plan, I was looking at it 6 times before I got the okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, you know, up with these lessons plans, like it really questioned, like I started questioning my ability to really teach, because it's like, I must.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, it scares me to death. There she is.
Hello.
Hi there. So you guys have all presented now, right?
Yeah.
I present next Tuesday, so.
So how many different workshops are you teaching?
2 different ones. One's on parenting, like tools for parenting toddlers, and then the other one is on like managing stress. So mothers with the stress that mothers are under with toddlers, ways to manage the stress.
So it'll be the same crowd both times.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it's kind of nice to have one of the workshops behind one left.
Yeah.
I feel like so you'll have the climax of the semester is finally here.
Wow. So yeah, you'll have to tell us how it went.
I feel like me and Charlene kind of have different perspectives on how it went. So you go first.
Oh yeah.
You hear us, Charlene?
What? Yeah, I just put headphones in, so did I miss something?
Okay. Yeah, she asked how the workshop went. And I said, I think we kind of have different perspectives on it. You go first.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, I think well, I just think I don't really like this as much as Jamie does. So like it's like, yay, whoop-de-doo, it's over. Like we have one more. I kind of was expecting to feel a bit relieved, like, yes, it's okay, we got one that was great, but I didn't feel that at all. I was just like, that's kind of as crappy as I thought it would be, which I feel bad because I feel like I need my own workshop and I'm not being optimistic or mindful and I'm just stressed and annoyed by the whole thing. So I was like, this is like, I'm not even doing any of the stuff that we're recommending other people do because I'm just like, this class is so stupid, I hate it. So I think Jamie likes it more.
Thank you for your honest opinion. No, I thought, like, we had some technical difficulties, which, like, because we're using a PowerPoint, so it all set up right and stuff, but then, like, the videos, we showed a few videos, and we had forgotten a speaker, so that kind of complicated it, and the videos, like, weren't downloading all the way, so we need to somehow figure out how to embed them into the PowerPoint so they're already all the way downloaded. So that kind of is stressful. Oh, go ahead.
I know how to do that.
You should coach us on that.
Do you want to know something funny? My 13-year-old son showed me.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
It's super easy. I'll send you the link. I'll email you guys the link. And you just Google that, and then it comes up with this this bar, and all you do is take the video link address and stick it in there, and it plugs it in and downloads it on your computer, and it's there like that, and then you just attach it.
Really? So then, like, even if we're not connected to the internet, then it should still work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you could send us that, that would be fantastic.
It's downloaded to your computer. So.
Yeah, no, overall, like, I felt like it went pretty well. It wasn't like, I don't know, I didn't think it was like super great. We really liked looking over the assessments and, you know, seeing what they liked and didn't like. And kind of generally speaking, I feel like ours is pretty general and pretty basic, and a few people mentioned that you know, it was good information, but it's stuff that we already know. So
I think
maybe like a younger audience or something.
Really?
Because the people that we had come were my mom, a supportive friend, and another girl on the ward. Those are all people who came for our first one. So, like, I mean, they don't really need this. They're all just coming to support us. So,
well, even with our target audience, though, it's 18 to 24, and like, I think overall, there are some people that could use it, and hopefully they'll come this next week. There was some scheduling conflicts with another activity this last week. But even, like, they mentioned maybe even teaching to, like, school classes or something, because it's something that, you know, by this time, hopefully, we've already learned.
Yeah, so it's more for at-risk people who are like have a serious struggles.
Yeah.
And so we had some people in mind thinking of that. So we'd have to target or to market better towards people who really need resilience because they had really rough childhoods or they've had really bad dating experiences and they truly need to learn this information. Whereas we were just kind of marketing to general young single adults.
Right. And it would be totally different if you had an audience that was in that high need. Like you would feel totally different, huh?
Yeah, because this basic stuff is like, oh, I never thought of it that way. Because I've had conversations with people where they're like, why did I never think of that? And it's like, it's really simple stuff. That's why they're having so much trouble, is because they don't recognize how simple it is and they don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Overall, though, like, we had some good exercises. People really liked the section on gratitude. You know, it reminded them, and as we wrote letters, and, you know, them expressing gratitude. Her mom started crying, and, you know, people, invested in it. So it was good. Like, the hands-on activities and things, I think, were just beneficial and a good reminder of these things that we already believe. So you did the same exercise that your video showed
then, where they
Yeah.
had the.
We didn't call anyone, but we wrote letters and then
Oh.
recommended that they either call them after, or we had like stamps and envelopes available so we could just send them in the mail.
Oh my word. That's cool. I really liked that on your outline. That was cool. Okay, I emailed that link to you guys.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
I was impressed how easy it was.
So are
That
you
should
still
help.
get for the next seminar you're doing?
Say that again.
So are you all done, or do you have one more?
We have one more.
Yes. We have one more, but it's the same lesson plan. So just
Okay.
the audiences will be different.
Hopefully.
Okay, I see.
So
So
the
are
idea
there-
was to kind of just, improve upon the first lesson plan and have another time to conquer.
So are you happy about that you're given the same thing over again, like that you get to do the same thing over? Are you happy that it went that way?
I think it's easier because, I mean, we had a plan set and we just were like, let's just do two different
Yeah.
times so people can come whenever they're available.
Yeah.
If I really liked giving workshops, then I would want to do like a series of workshops because I think that's better. You can get more in depth and people can really, because I think,
Yeah.
like Jamie was saying, since ours is so basic, like it would be a great introduction or something, and then we kind of get into deeper stuff and really help people work through things or something. I don't know. It's
Like
not
split
therapy.
into, then have a workshop on gratitude specifically, and splitting it up.
Mhm.
People then choose from there what they want to learn more about and come back.
So are there things that you know
So
that
did you
you'll
like
do
the
different?
flow of
Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Ashley.
I was gonna say, did you like the flow of how it went? Like, did the content flow really nicely from like one?
I think so. Yeah, I think overall they all connect very well to each other. Optimism. So it was optimism and then mindfulness, and mindfulness really helps us to be optimistic. So they all just connect pretty well to each other.
Yeah.
The other thing was too, though, that, so we introduced the topic of resilience, and then we showed that this like comic with a dragon blowing fire and this little potato with a sword. So then we were building our sword of resilience, or
Our
whatever,
shield.
by optimism, mindfulness, and all those things. And then we ended again, with kind of a brief thing on resilience. But I don't know how well, like, the things we covered were to help us build resilience. But I feel like it started out with, all right, here's our topic of resilience. And then we talk about all these other things. And then, oh yeah, this workshop was on resilience. So with these things, you can be resilient. So I don't know how well it like connected throughout the workshop. Like it did, but it didn't really like.
Because it makes sense to us that it connects, because you build optimism, you'll be resilient. And it's not necessarily supposed to be like build optimism specifically for resilience. You're just in general being more optimistic. It helps you be resilient. But yeah, it doesn't, people might not be, I don't know what it comes across as to other people, because to us, it's kind of like, oh yeah, well that will help with resilience. But we don't mention resilience for about an hour and a half.
So I don't know though. Overall, like I think I like that we did two of the same, because I think it was helpful, especially like for a first workshop, to kind of teach and have not a test run, but kind of just, get the feedback from them. And we had pretty clear assessments that they filled out. So then we can improve upon that for the next one. And it was kind of a good, I don't know, way for.
So like after you're like attention grabber and you like describe resilience, you're like, okay, so here's resilience. You just kind of introduced it, but here are the components of resilience.
Right.
Talking about today. Did you like do is like the components of resilience? Like here's optimism. Like I don't know. Sometimes like for me, like I give like an outline and I'm like, because one of my apps, I talk the skill set that we use to manage conflict, 5 different things of how to manage conflict. So I'm like, okay, we're going to be discussing how we manage conflict, and here are the 5 components that we'll be discussing today. And I like lay it all out, and then I can go back to, and then it's easy for me to summarize after. So I don't know if that'll help, but
yeah. So we show a video about resilience. We show a video about resilience, and then it like highlights. It highlights.
Oh yeah.
The ways that we strengthen our resilience or whatever. And then Charlene kind of, she, would then say, and some of them weren't exactly the wording that we used, but then like after the video, she, all right, so optimism is the same as whatever. And so we highlighted all of them. So hopefully, like I think.
They saw where you were going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So can I ask you?
Seems like resilience isn't, but there's roots behind everything. We're not teaching resilience. We're teaching how to build resilience.
Because you can't really teach resilience unless you teach these other areas.
Right.
So we just need to make sure they remember that's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So someone mentioned that we should have some more like stories about how this specific thing helps us be more resilient. I think that would be helpful if we had a bigger crowd, people were sharing stories, but so I'm not, or we had like better questions to ask, like, how does being optimistic help you get through hard times? Or I don't know, somehow making sure that each topic helps us recognize that by strengthening this area, we are going to be more resilient, because you can't specifically focus on building resilience without building one of the areas in the pyramid that we show in the video.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So how did your mood log go?
It was good. I talked a little too long. I did a very descriptive summary that probably wasn't necessary, because they pretty easily picked up on how to fill it out.
Okay.
So is what we did.
I'm doing that too. So
say it again.
I'm using that and mindfulness in mine.
Oh, really?
So I was wondering what you did and how it worked. So
what mood log did you use?
The one that we did in that class, the stress. Class. I think it's the same one, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that's definitely the best mood log I've seen.
So did you have them take their own experience and use something that they were feeling anxious about or something? Or?
Yeah, so I presented a scenario.
Okay.
And so then on the board, it was projected on the board, and I walked them through it first, the scenario I presented. And before I started, I told them to keep a scenario, be thinking of something in their life that may be causing them stress or whatever that they could apply, and that afterwards they fill it out individually. So that way they knew, the process, the order and stuff of filling it out. And then we just gave them 5 or 10 minutes to do it personally.
Okay. So did you go through all of those distortions and all that stuff? Did you go to that great length? Did you have them?
Yeah, but I don't think I will this time. I don't think I'll, yeah, we went over a lot of the distortions. I think I'll highlight a few, but generally just looking at the log, you can kind of figure it out.
That's what I think. Yeah. Okay. That's helpful.
Yeah. That's cool that you're using that too. I love that.
I know. I was like, oh, I'm doing the same thing.
So Charlene and I have talked a lot about our workshops. You guys tell us more what's happening on your guys' end.
Ashley, did you do another one? Is Ashley there? Did she go? Oh. Did she go?
Oh, it looks like cut out.
I don't even know.
Oh. I hope she comes back on.
So how are you feeling?
Yeah.
Is everything mostly ready to go for yours?
So I finally got my second lesson plan back. She said that it's good. So I think I got it back on Monday morning. So now I'm trying to figure out how to get 2 hours worth of information into my brain, for 2 hours for each day. So 4 hours into my brain. I'm stressing about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So you're teaching next Tuesday for this first time, and then when's the other one?
Then on Thursday.
Oh, wow.
2 days later, so yeah.
And where are you teaching at?
Just at the church.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, and I have people I got on, it's mostly a Facebook invite. I did a invite through Facebook. I created an event on Facebook. And then I have a dance class that has a bunch of young moms in it, and most of them are coming. And then my daughter and daughter-in-law are in, they have toddlers, so they're gonna come and are coming. So
cool. So there should be a good crowd then.
Yeah, I have like 15. I'm offering babysitting. I'm offering childcare. And right now I think I have 15 kids coming. 15.
Wow.
That's a lot. So
that's awesome. That's such a good idea to do childcare too, especially with that workshop.
That was a good incentive. I'm like, if nobody else, I asked my daughter, I said, what would make you want to come to a workshop on parenting? And I said, if I like fed you breakfast and had childcare, and she's like, just if you had childcare, it would be enough.
Mm-hmm. So who are you having babysit? Just like young women in the ward, or?
So yeah, I have a 17-year-old daughter, and she's going to, and my 13-year-old son, and then I think my son-in-law is going to help.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then hopefully some young women will volunteer. They have girls camp this week, so I didn't want to bother them for girls camp.
Wow. That's cool. That's fun that it's like a whole family affair.
Yeah. I might have to recruit my husband too, like take the day off, take some morning off and come help.
So is that what you're teaching then, is in the morning? Well, I guess it's
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I really love the information. Like I learned so much from, well, she would say things about my outline. Oh, in my experience, this is what I found, which was so helpful. Like that's pretty cool to get advice from someone who's like the moms are gonna love it. Like that's a pretty big advantage for them to have access to that. So.
Yeah, it is so cool that we have, I don't know,
yeah.
There's great research and stuff, but it's really helpful too to get Sister Buswell's advice. Yeah. And she like picks out things that like I think we would never think about.
For sure.
Oh, she's back.
Oh, she's back. What happened, Ashley?
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully.
Hey there. 1 second.
Ashley. Oh, okay, 1 sec. So this thing we were supposed to write at what we told you guys to do about, is that what it was?
Yeah, we're supposed to write what advice we gave.
Okay. So I guess I gave you guys advice on that link. How to download.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what, I loved your outline. I loved your how you put Power PP on all of your, on the outline.
Mm-hmm.
So you just knew to click on your PowerPoint whenever you saw that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, mainly we had that as we were making the PowerPoint, so we knew what slides to.
Okay.
But it was helpful
okay.
too. I feel like we were familiar enough with the lesson plan by the time we
it helped me know when to, because I was mostly the one pushing.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it really helped me know when, because sometimes I'd be like, is there a slide, or is there 2 slides for this part, or 1? So it was very helpful.
Okay.
A reminder.
Did you have your outlines like in front of you when you're given the, like, how well did you know your stuff?
Not well enough.
We had it in front of us.
Did you? Okay. So you went off. I know I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry that
You can?
we're gone. Oh, we're gone.
No worries. I'm on my desk. I was on my laptop for video, but now I'm on my desktop. So I had to connect my headphones because my laptop just like totally like.
Shoot.
It's okay. At least we can hear you.
Yeah.
Part. Yeah, it was interesting though, like when the workshop came, I thought we had dotted our I's and crossed our T's, but we got there and there's still all the, a power cord and a, like the HDMI and a speaker, and there were just all of these, or like a lesson plan. I got there and the lesson plan I had printed, like I was missing a page or 2 of it for some reason. So I don't know, there were just a lot of adjustments that we had to make that we, thought we had considered or whatever, or just never even thought to consider.
Oh, wow.
Which, I really like. That's another reason I'm glad that we're teaching again, because we, we're able to kind of see and then be more prepared the next week. But it was interesting too, because we went to the church, so we taught at the church, and we went we had a lot of time in advance because we prepared for maybe those things, but it's still it felt like we were kind of on a time crunch because there were all just these things that came up.
And you have to have that cable with the church things, don't you? I got to make sure I have one to hook the computer to the TV or the power or the projector.
Yeah, you have to have an HDMI cord. And that was one of the problems. We had an HDMI, but we were planning on doing it on my laptop, but MacBooks don't have the HDMI thing. So then we had to send the PowerPoint over to Charlene's laptop and just.
Okay.
And then we hadn't even thought about church Wi-Fi. You can't watch. We hadn't downloaded the videos.
Okay.
And you can't watch YouTube on church Wi-Fi. So there was Xfinity close, and we could connect on an Xfinity account. But yeah.
Oh wow. This is very helpful. It's almost like we need a dry run through, it makes me want to go on Monday next week and just hook everything up and see if it works.
I would suggest that after what we did. Yeah.
Hey, you guys, you can write that in your thing for what you told me.
Right. Well, and I think even just for peace of mind, it's nice to just know that you can go and it'll be ready. So yeah, we'll put that as our suggestion. Oh, she's gone again.
Gone. I know. Darn it. I'm trying to think I don't know what I could tell her. She's already done a couple workshops. She's probably almost done too. You guys are almost done.
Mm-hmm. You'll be almost done here soon too. We'll have started and finished. Yeah.
I'm looking through lessons plans and stuff. I have no idea what to, I don't even know how to fix our own lesson plan. So I'm I don't know it looks good. So I'm sure, for all of us, there's plenty of things we could adjust or make it better, but I have no idea what to recommend.
Yeah.
I'm just the sentences make sense. It's got bullet points. It's good.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part is just having facilitating good interaction and having hands-on things to do, but as well as information and talking and stuff. I remember going to a workshop in high school. It was at least 2 hours long. And it was with a crowd of FFA. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but there's like hundreds.
Okay.
It was at like a state convention, and there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of high school kids there. And this was awful. Like the workshop was awful because they just talked to us.
Wow.
And then at one point, I think they had us split into groups for like 10 minutes. So there was some facilitated like interaction there, but beyond that, they just talked to us about how they like were hobos and then overcame that. And like I don't know, it was weird.
Wow.
But it was just weird because I felt like they were talking at us the whole time, and there was no like, you know, facilitated, I don't know.
Well, if you're interested in the subject, I mean, I've been to like a TED Talks convention and they just talk to you for 4 hours.
Okay.
But I think it's what you're expecting. Like, I think a workshop, you're expecting more. For me, like I think it depends on, I think a workshop could be either way. It could be a total lecture at you, or it could be hands-on. Mm-hmm.
And you're right. I mean, there's sometimes I've heard someone speak where you could listen to them easily for 4 hours without, you know, but some things are just like, wow, they could, some things are super hard to sit through if they don't interact. Lady come and speak in our stake who had been, she had been involved in she was driving a car when she was drunk and killed 2 people when she was a teenager. And she ended up going to prison, joining the church in prison.
Wow.
She found a Book of Mormon to her and her cellmates. She ended up, as soon as she got out of prison, she was baptized, but she ended up converting the prison guard. And when she got out of prison, he was getting baptized, and she went to his baptism, and they ended up getting married.
Oh my gosh, that's someone you just listen to forever.
She spoke, and normally they speak for 45 minutes in this our stake, and she went for an hour and a half, and I seriously could have listened to her for at least 4 hours without even blinking an eye.
That is incredible. Whoa.
Amazing.
You should tell that again now that Ashley's back. That's
sorry.
So we were talking about how some things are hard to sit through if there's no interaction, and how other things, if you're really interested, how it's okay. But I was telling about this lady that came and spoke. We have this group at our stake they meet once a month at 60. And this lady came and spoke, and she had been a teen driver and she had killed a couple drunk driving when she was a teenager. So she got put in prison. When she was in prison, I think she was actually baptized. She was a member of the church, but then she'd fallen away in her. And anyway, she found a Book of Mormon in the prison, started reading it, and she would read it to her cellmate. And she ended up converting the prison guard of prison. He was actually getting baptized, and she went to his baptism, and they ended up getting married.
Oh my word.
Anyway, she has this amazing story she shared that story. That was one of the things where I could have listened to her for hours and hours without ever.
Wow.
She has a story about Heavenly Father never leaves you. He's with you no matter what you are going through. He has a plan for you, and he does not desert you. It was amazing.
wow.
That's crazy. Wow. God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Ashley, how many workshops do you have left then?
I have one more.
Okay.
So did you have a similar crowd then from the first one? Did you have everyone come back?
Yes.
Wow.
I have a dedicated group, and that's part of what's going to be tricky is I have a dedicated set of couples that have been attending, but then I have people that have come in and out. So So that's going to be interesting to see my results. But I have at least 4 couples that have attended all of them. And
wow.
So it's been really good. The first one, as I was getting stuff planned for the first one, I was going to do like use a PowerPoint presentation and kind of have it as a lecture style. And then as I was calling the bishop and getting things set up, he's like, well, we don't have a projector. We don't know where it is. And I was like, okay, so I have 30 minutes or the date, to put something together, before, so Sister Buswell can approve it. So I sat down and I powered out a handout really quick the day before. Thankfully, I don't know, I'm so glad Heavenly Father has like made this semester possible, because I am a hot mess. And so, so he approved it really quick, which was awesome. And then I handed the handout, and I was still planning on doing it as a lecture, kind of like as a PowerPoint, even with my handout as my outline as my study guide. And with it being so small of a class, I realized that that wasn't how I needed to teach it. So I had to rearrange how I was planning on teaching it. And I was planning on standing up in front of the room and kind of lecturing and kind of facilitating discussion. But it turned out that because it was, 6 couples, or not 6 couples, 3 couples, we ended up sitting in a circle. And I was like, okay, well, let's just go through this handout together. And so my first lesson was about commitment and how commitment is important to a relationship. And we just walked through it together. We had discussions. And on the handout, oh man, it was a while ago. On the handout, I believe there was some questions that were on there. I can't remember, but it just flowed really nicely to where people kind of understood of when we could talk, when we could discuss, when it was appropriate. It was just, it flowed really nicely. And it was great the activities were really good. Some of like the activities in that one was like a commitment questionnaire of, assessing your commitment to your spouse. And there was actually 2 people who were divorced that attended the class, and have actually been that have attended all 3. And it's been good to hear their feedback from, from their perspective of having been married and now single. But it's also been really good to hear people who are, who have been married for a long time, a short time. There's a couple that's been married 30 plus years, another couple that's been married like 6. So it's been good to have those people in that class, because they all have different perspectives, whatever we're talking about. And then the second one was friendship. And then the third one was accepting influence. And that was a really, really good one. That was because I took it as, because John Gottman talks about accepting influence from your partner and what that looks like. And John Gottman, like, he really harps on men and how they don't accept influence very well. But from where I come from, I don't think women accept influence very well. So I decided that in order to present accepting influence, we need to understand what equal partnership looks like. And so we talked about what that looks like and how we can accept influence in our relationships. And it was a really, really good and a really good discussion. So anyway.
And then what's your 4th one on?
My 4th one is about how to resolve conflict respectfully and how to continue courtship.
That's cool.
So I don't like how this one, I don't like this outline. I have yet to, I submitted it the other night, but I don't like how it looks.
So when are you teaching next?
So next Monday.
Okay.
So
Have you seen Kristen and Danny? Have you seen those? Any of those videos? It's like Kristen. They lip sync in a car.
Oh yes, yes.
So they just barely had this thing go around on Facebook last week, I think, where they teach marriage seminars also, and they had the cutest thing where they got together and talked about. It kind of goes along with resolving conflict, and it's really funny. Like, I will see if I can find the link and email it to you. Because it could even be something to break the ice or something at the beginning, because it's super funny. And they talk about how, like, the goal of marriage is to try to shorten the time in between with a conflict, so you don't go for 3 days without talking to each other or something. But that kind of fits with that.
Okay, that would be awesome.
I'll see if I can. I'll email it.
Will you send that to me too? That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
Sunday
it's really
school lesson is on resolving conflict, so I probably won't show that, but it might give me some good insight.
It's funny because but they have they're very religious. Like they talk about Jesus and things like that with. So it's pretty good, you know.
That's cool.
So I think that's cool how you were able to, adjust your teaching style. I was thinking about our teaching style. I was telling my father-in-law about how things were going because we were visiting over the weekend, and I don't know if he understood exactly what we were doing because he kept saying that I was saying, I think our information was too basic. We had the wrong type of audience. He's like, well, you just got to go more in depth. And I'm like, well, we can't just suddenly go into depth and skip the rest of our lesson because that's not the point of I have to do this. He's like, well, it just sounds way too rigid. And he's just like, I mean, you won't be. So I don't think he understood, but I still felt that was it didn't really apply, but at the same time it did. Like I don't think we had enough opportunities to go slightly in depth if they asked us to. Like if people were to ask questions, I don't think we had. I think it not necessarily just like, well, whatever they decide to talk about, because I think he was thinking more of like a Sunday school lesson where wherever the Spirit takes you, and that we can't do that because then we won't teach our lesson. Mm-hmm. But I think we had some in depth in each section in case the gratitude. They all loved the gratitude. If we had dwelt on that a little longer because they were showing interest, then maybe that would have been good to have. But I feel like we would have needed a lot more prep, and I think it was kind of rigid because we were trying to follow just if anyone else picked up the lesson plan, they could teach it. So therefore, we need to teach it the same way. Yeah. But I think a little bit of flexibility would have been good.
I'm surprised more people weren't they didn't feel like they learned from the mindfulness and the mood log. Like those things are not what everybody sees all the time. Did you feel like they already knew that?
I think it was more that they don't beat themselves up terribly. I'm sure it was useful because in the questionnaire they did I know how to use a mood log? It was a 1 or 2, and then afterwards it was a 4 or 5. So yes, they learned how to use a mood log, but they probably already have the skills to not completely accept cognitive distortions and let it sit forever and be like, I'm just a failure as a person because this happened. So I mean, because like I said, I think 2 of the people there, I think my mom was probably the one who could use it the most, but then she's also, older and knows how to, deal with things in her own way. So it was probably somewhat useful. Just, I think that was probably one of the most important skills they learned there in the mood log.
Yeah. I don't know, because even when I did it, I feel like I can work through that pretty well in my mind. But even when I did the mood log, I'm like, whoa, it made sense of what I, already being in it. That first time I did it in the class, it didn't just change everything. But I'm like, this is super useful. This is really beneficial. But I didn't feel like it had I don't know, maybe we should have put something more detailed about the mind log on the mood log on the assessment to get more feedback on that. But I think for some people, I hope we have some people there this Saturday that could benefit more, because I just think everyone should fill out mood logs until they figure it out.
Could you offer like a challenge, like, hey, we're gonna do a mood log, but I do challenge you to take this home and try it a couple times.
Yeah, we put like 5 different copies of the mood log in the packets that they could and then they could make copies of it if they wanted.
You're on top of
the packet.
Mm-hmm. Don't be too impressed. It was like,
you put things in a folder and gave them, or
we just stapled them together and got.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
We had
the setup of it. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say we had like the optimism test in there, and then a suggested readings section with just some of our favorite books on happiness and stuff and resilience.
And then just some pages for notes, and we did brainstorming for what you're grateful for. So there was one that said like I am grateful for, and then you fill in below. But it was good. So we just had people like sit in a semi-circle kind of, and so we put out the packets on the chairs before they came with like a mechanical pencil just attached to it, and then we decided we were trying to be mindful, and we didn't do refreshments. But we did like get water bottles, so we set water bottles by the chair, so, and clipboards. Even though we weren't super prepared for that, we just rounded up a few from the church.
That's a good idea.
It appeared to be professional until the video stopped working and whatnot.
Shoot.
Sorry if I missed it. Chanel, did you already go? Did you already?
I go on Tuesday and Thursday next week. I'm doing 2, and then I'll be done. So they're 2 hours.
Do you need help with anything? 2 hours.
I've gotten a lot of. I think that this has helped me a lot. Like last week's and this week's, you guys have given me a lot of good advice. Okay. I'm trying to think of anything else.
Okay.
Oh, my main thing, Ashley, was how to get all of that in my brain, because the outlines are super long since they're 2 hours.
Yeah.
That was my big. But did that help? Everyone said they kind of had their outline with them and followed it.
Yeah, on the assessment, we had a few people say, just look up more, be more.
And I felt like we were we were reading off of the PowerPoint a little bit, and we were reading, but I felt like we were pretty engaged, but maybe they thought they should memorize it all.
Because, there are some quotes and things that we read that we had to look, we're probably not going to memorize all that stuff.
You're not going to memorize. Yeah. That, even if I did get them memorized, there's no way I would remember it then,
Of the moment, yeah.
Everybody, and I think maybe I'll say at the beginning, I like how, I can't remember which one of your outlines, you kind of introduced family life education at the very beginning before you even did anything. Did you like doing that way?
Yeah, I think it was helpful. I don't think they entirely grasped what it was, but the idea, I think that's a super beneficial way to start. And I think it is eye-opening because, I think a lot of them, because on our flyer it said, that it was a family life education workshop or whatever, just part of the description. And I think a lot of them thought they were coming, and especially as young single adults, we hear about, all right, when you're married, then do this and this and this and this. We're just doing some canning or whatever to put away and use later on. But I think they, as we described family life education, through the workshop, they kind of had that it was a family life education thing in mind. But by the end, they realized that it wasn't focused on, the family. The approach that we're taking is that family is just developing good relationships that will help us now as much as they will later. So.
Oh, that's a good point.
That it's focused on the process of relationships rather than
the end goal of I'm married, therefore everything's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about there being a confusion with like how you're supposed to teach in Sunday school and Relief Society, you know, like teaching the Lord's way is where the teacher's a facilitator, and this is not like that. This is more us teaching. And so my husband was even like, maybe you need to point that out, that this isn't like
free for all.
Much as, yeah. But I don't know how to say that exactly. But did you have problems? Did either of you have problems with that where they turned it into a discussion when you didn't exactly want it to?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you sure?
I was just going to say, I felt like there was no problem for us, but that's because we had 3 people and they knew it was for school. So emphasizing that it's a school thing, I think helped. You know, we're not just doing this because we want to in Relief Society, but it was a school. But it also helped that we knew everyone who came. So
I think at one point, I think it was the mindfulness thing. It kind of got carried away just into, you know, discussion for a minute. But we were, you know, I think people understood. And, you know, the setup of it is different than Sunday school and whatnot. And I think they understood. And so we were easily able to like, all right, let's bring it back and focus on mindfulness or whatever.
That's good. Ashley, did you?
Yeah, I ran into some issues because partially the reason why I did 4 seminars was because I didn't think I could get the attendance that I needed to on a weekday or a weekend. And so I talked to, you know, my bishop and I said, hey, can I just do it for the adult FHE night?
Yeah.
And he said, sure. And so my ward is awesome. I used to absolutely despise my ward, but they have been so supportive because then the bishop would announce it saying, hey, there's a family. He kept calling it a family relations class. And there's a family relations manual that you can on the gospel
Sunday school,
you know, app. And so a lot of people, when they first came, they're like, oh, are you teaching out of this manual? And I would say no, but surprisingly, a lot of the topics are the same. It's just going to be more scholarly. And I think that actually detracted, I think people became just a little bit disinterested because they're like, I don't want to go to a class that's not spiritually uplifting. And so I constantly would have to say at the beginning, you know, like, hey, this is what I'm doing for a school project. This is not just a gospel class on FHE. And so when I mentioned it, so my very, very first seminar, when I introduced myself, I explained what it was, what the course was, what the expectations were. And so that class was small, but it's been growing exponentially because people, word of mouth, are getting around like, hey, just because it's scholarly doesn't mean it's not mirroring with the gospel. And so like during classes, for example, the commitment one or the equal partnership one, that definitely has some gospel to it. And so even though I didn't bring it up, students or participants would say, well, of course this makes sense because the gospel teaches it this way. And then I would have to find how to redirect them back to, you know, what John was saying or whatever. So I constantly had to keep it as a family life education when they inadvertently were also trying to make.
So they would make content.
Yeah.
The thing that this class has like taught me the most, I think, because therefore I feel like I maybe mentioned this to you guys. Maybe it was in a different class, but like there for a while, I'm like, you know, I've taught Sunday school a lot. I've taught lessons at church a lot. But now I have to, like, this is different. Now this is scholarly and professional and whatnot. But the thing that I've realized the most is that it's all the same. Like, truth is truth.
Yeah.
So we're finding, you know, all of these articles and things, and they do completely mirror the gospel because it's all truth.
Isn't it something? Yeah.
Really,
it really is something.
By testimony of the gospel too, to just see how much. And so, yeah, it kind of does make it tricky. But in a sense, as we're teaching truth, whether it be from John Gottman or from the prophets, it's, you know, it's spiritual and it's true. And it's hard to, you know, kind of detract from that balance, or like, I don't know if that makes sense.
That's pretty good.
No, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess overall, just be aware of, I mean, learn how to respectfully control your environment. I mean, it's awesome that the participants have been able to draw those spiritual conclusions, but just learn how to respectfully kind of go back to your outline throughout your teaching is all I can say. And to, like, even when I'm teaching, I don't know if I've said this in this class, but one time my bishop said, fill your well, just continually fill your well. And that means just be a sponge, absorb all of the information. And so by the time that you are ready to teach, you are prepared, and you can draw whatever is in your well and make it relevant to what you're talking about. So I tend to memorize a lot of my lesson plans. I just rehearse it, or as I'm going through the line that I made, I can say, oh, okay, this quote, if it comes up in discussion, I have this quote in my well that I can pull up and record right here. Or so that's what I try and do, is instead of making this gigantic, because I just get overwhelmed so easily, I make a simple outline, and I'm like, okay, here's that quote that goes with this, or this, this, and this. And so when I rehearse and memorize, I just have that to pull out. And and that works for me. Might not work for you guys, but that's what works for me. So anyway, you'll do awesome.
That's a good idea.
Well, I don't know if we're meeting again, but I kind of hope we meet again in like a week or so.
I know. That would be fun when we're all relaxed.
Yeah, when it's all behind us, and now we're just figuring out the whole portfolio thing.
I might need help on the data.
We meet again, or we have to consult on our resumes. So we don't have to like meet in person, but we do have to help each other with our resumes later.
Oh, good.
Okay.
And like Ashley said, the data, like it's been a long time since I took that statistics class. Like
yeah, we haven't taken that one yet.
Oh, you haven't? The SPS, the SPSS?
It's all just going to be downhill from here, because Charlene and I both kind of took this class earlier on.
Wow.
So, you know, once we do the research.
That's kind of cool to have it out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Okay, well, Ashley, or I guess we can, if we need help with the data, I guess the teacher will help us.
No. The data analysis part of our portfolio. I'm like,
I tried to make my evaluation have numbers, so at least it could be quantitative.
Yeah. So I might hit you guys up and be like, help me, please.
Me too.
Yeah. No, we should plan to meet a time or two again. I think that it's beneficial for us to collaborate. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are awesome. I appreciate you.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Well, good luck. Have safe travel. Enjoy your weekend.
Yeah. Okay, have a good day.
All right, I'll send you the link.
All right.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.